Welcome to Wapato Lake National Wildlife Refuge. Historically, I actually saw something move right there too, wherever that movement is. So yeah, there is something right there. I don't think it's fish, but it could be. I might have just seen two fish right there. And over there. Just because they're kind of hanging out by the surface. It both makes me think it is and isn't a fish. It's a damselfly right there. Cool. So the cool history about it is that this whole part of the valley right here that we're actually on the property of was originally naturally a lake, which is really cool. I actually find this interesting. If you actually look at the flow of the water, it's heading south, which it naturally shouldn't, because the mouth of it and the confluence of the Tualatin's up north. So for some reason the flow right now is actually heading in reverse direction. It's actually heading to the south rather than the north, and naturally it would head to the north. It finally did a big flop there. It used to be one big lake, and it was actually a permanent lake. It wasn't just a wetland. But of course most of the Tualatin-Willamette Valley is actually just filled in impacted wetlands for agriculture and or of course for urban development and sprawl, unfortunately, and freeways and highways and roads and you name it. So it's an unfortunate truth. Douglas spirea, I think that's what that is. It's very faded out though, so it's way past season. I mean, you can tell the rest of them are all dead. They're all brown. You can see the trail kind of acts like a dike. This is all. I got to get used to camera angles because they're never what they should be. I'm actually, where I point it is never where it actually is showing. It's really annoying. I've never understood that about the different cameras I've used. This is obviously my phone, but yeah, I see it acts like a dike. This is all probably like willow and other related things for marshland again. I'll just load it with it. There's actually a raptor nest on the little raptor nesting site right here. It's pretty cool. There's an actual nest up there. But all of this down in this little gully was a natural lake, and it was, most of its body was year-round. But I actually have footage from earlier this year. I believe it was late March, going almost into April. It might have been early March, but like the amount of flooding there was along the Jackson Bottom wetlands area was astounding. I mean, it was just ridiculous. It was as far as the eye could see, it was nothing but just deep water. Looks like a lacewing? I definitely think that's a lacewing, isn't it? The camera doesn't want to focus on him because he blends in so well. I'm pretty sure it's a lacewing. Little bird. Little ladybird. I don't know how well she's focusing, but look at her. Ladybird, or ladybird beetle. Also, of course, what we call them in the US is ladybugs. Another damselfly. This is a thorned plant. I don't like it. There he is. The blue doesn't want to focus on him properly, unfortunately. Holy crap. Hello. How are you doing? Jeez, if you were not paying attention, that'd be a fun one. This is burdock. Old aged burdock. Let's see some of the lake. Still just marshland. Because they got to try to do their best to put as much money and effort into restoring this back to where it historically was. That's why rewilding is great. Like, conservation's okay. But there's infinitely better ways to do things than conservation. One of them is obviously rewilding. And another one, even better, I think it's personally the most superior form of helping the environment and ecosystems return. And that is non-interventionist or minimal interventionist wildland restoration. Restoration should always be the key, not conservationism, not the other stuff. Conservationism has its place, so does rewilding. And with true restoration efforts, rewilding is an inevitability always. And it's going to take so much money, time, and effort to really help this thing get back to an actual consistent lake. You're going to just see an egret over there. No egrets. See that white thing right there? That's an egret. I have no egrets. So, you might actually be somewhat curious to wonder, like, why isn't the park bigger? Well, actually probably nobody's wondering that. But for those of you that are familiar with the efforts to have made this refuge, it's been a really, really difficult and very long effort-loading process. And the reason why, of course, as you'd probably expect in the US, is the landowners. The landowners in the area, mainly, of course, the farmers, the agricultural folks, do not want to sell their land for any amount of money to the government in order to then, of course, make this refuge become even bigger. This park should not look like this. It shouldn't be this small, it shouldn't be that shape. If it was at its full size, it'd go quite a ways further south. It'd even be able to go a little further up against, and abut the actual highway. And of course it would go further southeast and due east. So of course naturally that's exactly why this park looks the way it does currently. And ever since it opened officially, I believe again in 2017, this park has stayed the same amount of land. It's stayed exactly the same the whole time. And again, it's because ever since then, and that means it's been a long time. It's been 6 years, going on 7, I believe. Or is it 7 years? I think it's 7 years. 6 or 7 years, going on 7 or 8 years straight, where they have not been able to succeed in any efforts to try to get any of the local landowners in the area to sell them even a single slight small portion of their land if they allow it to be parceled out. And I completely understand it, but at the same time, that does suck quite a bit, because I'd like to see this at the full extent and the full size. That'd be awesome. That's a weird ass siren. Do you see it? That is a fish. It's not muskrats. Those are fish. Those have been fish that are just like casually hanging out right at the surface. I might have gotten a grasshopper, like my original goal was. And so, I'm going to take that as a good sign that I'll be able to capture a trout. Some of these trout, for sure. So many grasshoppers. Oh my goodness. Do you see him? Look at him. Look at the grasshopper. Well, I really want to continue, and I could on my own. I just couldn't record the video because it would get too dark, but I really want to be able to continue going through the park, because there's literally 2.6 miles, 2 miles more south that I could go down, but it's getting dark pretty fast, especially with them cloud covers coming in. So I think unfortunately I'm going to have to end my trek here today. weird. These are grass carp though, for sure. So what I've been seeing has not been trout, it's been grass carp, I think. Although the backs are so dark on some of these fish I've seen that I swear they had to be rainbows. Look at their eyes, can you see them? It's so cool to be able to see their scales and their eyes and the full thing. Giant freaking goldfish. Look at all these gnats. I don't even know if you can see them. Big cloud of gnats. I'm kind of glad I took this, I missed the turn I was supposed to take for Spring Hill Drive. Speaking of. Womp. But, this is why. Like, what? I'm going to take a page out of Tom Cassell's book, / Ken Cassell. Would you just look at that view? It just, seriously though, like what, unreal. Absolutely freaking unreal view between the two Oregon white oaks. Are you kidding? What? This is incredible, just looking at it, like, because the sun is just glowing directly onto the hillsides and everything. Incredible. Absolutely ridiculous off its head, off its rocker. Wha-bam! This, look at this. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Hell yeah.